Boom! Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? Huge shout out to those people who are watching or listening on the replay, or if you're listening on SoundCloud or Spotify or iTunes. It's not even called iTunes anymore, is it? It's called Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning into this. If you are here live, like the actonthis.tv massive here, I can see Lynn's now in the house. Sandra, yes, you are in the UK. Sandra's a German member of our acting community, and is now over in the UK in quarantine, but apparently she just said in the comments that the actonthis.tv members, because we have the best acting community on the planet, have been bringing her food, which is amazing, and to help her get her groceries delivered. Sandra, we're all here to help you. Everyone in this community. It's just the proudest thing I have about what we have created here between us all. It's not me who's done this. It's just how freaking supportive all the actors in our community are of each other, and it is rare. Like, honestly, it just is rare. And I don't mean I'm not throwing shade on the industry or anything like that, but so many actors come from a place of scarcity. They come from a place of lack. They don't feel enough. They feel that if anyone else is having any success, it is taken away from their own success. They get envious and jealous easily, and they're not negative traits either. Being envious or jealous is not negative in terms of if you see somebody with something that you have, something you don't have that you want, then it just means that if you're aiming to get that thing, you're on the right path. I think envy and jealousy can actually be a really good barometer for whether you are working towards the things that really matter to you in your life. Because if you see someone achieve something you don't want to achieve, you don't feel that, do you? So it's like, well, actually, if I'm chasing that, then I'm chasing the wrong thing because I clearly don't want it. If you see somebody winning a BAFTA or an Academy Award or having a short film made or landing a role, and you get that little bit of, oh, God, I wish that was me, that's a positive thing, in terms of, as long as you're working towards that, it means you're on the right path. A lot of actors don't use that for positive, though. They use it to make themselves feel like shit. And then they feel completely demotivated and they feel everyone's against them and the industry's against them. And we just don't have that in our community. Everybody is just super pumped and super happy for everybody, which is amazing. Shannon, good evening. Kelly, how are you doing? Hope you are well. So tonight, got loads to discuss with you guys. For the next hour, I'm going to be recapping on an incredible member-only Zoom session that we held last week with Twitter King of Comedy, Mr. Johnny Weldon. If you don't know Johnny by name, you'll know him by his hair and by his incredible sketches that he puts out on Twitter. Very cringy sort of actor parody sketches. In fact, if I go over to my web browser now, you will have seen Johnny. Here's Johnny. You'll have seen. Let me refresh the page. You'll have seen one of his sketches, I'm sure. I mean, there is an incredible one. An actor gets a self-tape through. One of my favourites. I mean, look at it. 679.2 thousand views. When he started doing these sketches, he had 700 followers. Now got 16,100. And he's amassed literally millions and millions of views on his work. And we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be playing out some clips from our session with Johnny the other night. And just talking about how powerful social media can be for our community, for actors wanting to get eyes on their work. Johnny's had an incredible amount of attention from everyone in the industry, actors, writers, directors, agents. He's got a new agent now. He's landed roles in TV shows because he's become known to casting directors, via his videos. That doesn't mean everyone has to go out and be another Johnny Weldon. It's probably impossible to imitate. And you wouldn't want to do that anyway, but it is illustrating the power and the reach that ththese platforms have, Twitter in particular. If you want to know, by the way, because of this, I put together a resource for anybody who's like, well, actually, I don't know, I don't do Twitter. I don't know who to follow on Twitter and that sort of stuff. I put together a little free resource for you guys. I'm just going to bring it up now. If I can remember the web address for it. Of course, it's very easy to remember, Ross, because it's just actonthis.tv/Twitter. How can I not remember that? I'm going to go over to a page that you get access to once you've been to that page. Though, go to actonthis.tv/Twitter. Just pop your name and email address in, and I'll send you this list. It's 57, basically, of what I think are the most active and some of the most useful casting director and casting associate and casting assistant Twitter accounts to follow. I guarantee you, even if you are a Twitter veteran, you won't be following everybody on this list. There'll be people here, even if it's in the associates and assistants category here, that you're like, oh, I didn't know they work for such and such a body. I mean, these are the casting directors of the future, effectively. These are really, really important people within casting. So actonthis.tv/Twitter. If you want to go and get that, it's totally free. It won't cost you a penny. And if you're not a member of actonthis.tv, yeah, you'll actually get a special offer to get a trial to the website for just £1 if you opt into that. If you don't want to try this out for £1, I don't know what you're doing in this industry, basically. But yeah, let's start recapping on Johnny's session. It was an incredible session. Who was there? Joanne, don't apologise for being late. It's totally cool. I can see you in the chat here. You can drop into these broadcasts and out of them, no problem. Who was on it on last? When was it? Last Thursday night? Last Thursday night with Johnny Weldon. Let us know. And let us know what you thought of it. I just think he's such a great guy, and it just shows you just what you can achieve by just putting yourself out there without a plan. Sometimes people don't put themselves out there because they want to convince themselves some sort of like perfectionist thing in their life. Like, oh, but I don't have a plan and, I've got to have a strategy. No, you don't. Just bullshit that. You're just kidding yourself because you're scared of people saying that your stuff isn't very good. And you've just got to take that risk, and ignore. I've got a clip as well about ignoring the haters because you're going to get any. You're going to get some. You're not. You're never going to not get any. That's what I meant to say there. You're going to get some regardless of how good your content is as well, because of that jealousy and envy that I spoke about before. Some people just don't like seeing other people do well. I get bad comments on some of the stuff that I put out, but you've just got to, just sort of like shower those people with more love even sometimes than the people who leave good comments, because you've got to be in a pretty rough place in your head, haven't you, to take in somebody's content online and leave a negative comment on it. The first clip that I want to play out from this session with Johnny, and you can get the full recording of this on actonthis.tv in the members area. It's over a 2 hour, is it like 2 hours and 3-4 minutes, something like that, session with Johnny. This first clip is about doing as opposed to overthinking. Delaney says it was fantastic. I was there, thought it was inspirational, says Indra. I watched the replay, really admire him. Nice one, Lynn. Well, this is about, stopping overthinking. We all do it. Christ, I know I can still overthink stuff, right? And I'm very aware of not doing that. But sometimes, if we're not careful, we just talk ourselves out of doing something that would actually, potentially lead to really good things happening. So it's just literally 2 minutes of how Johnny kind of started. And how there really was no plan. There was no grand plan for this. Didn't work backwards from anything. Just went, I'm going to put this out and see what happens. I'll see you in a sec. What was the point where you went, right, I am going to start putting my own stuff out there? What was the catalyst for that? And how did you get over, just if maybe you didn't have to, but the trepidation a lot of people have around posting that first piece of content?
The pandemic started. I stopped doing stand-up. I literally was just tried to keep my mental health together, tried to exercise. The video thing, I don't know. This is why I feel like a bit of a fraud, because I don't, I literally just did it because I was bored. Me and my mate love to just take the piss out of the industry. We send each other voice clips. We will do like impressions of an actor at an audition. It's just a thing that we've always done. So my little sketches, me and my mate have always sent it to each other. Yeah. He said, just put it online, and he thought he was like, put it on TikTok. And I said no, because I didn't think the industry needed that, because I felt like a lot of people have been trying to do that, and a lot of people have been very successful, and it was like, why would I need to add to the thing that's already there? But I just made a little video, and the first video I put up, I just sent it to him, and he went, that's funny, put it on Twitter. And at this point, I had 700 followers on Twitter, and I rarely used it. I thought I was really interesting on Twitter because I shared what interesting people said. Oh, okay. I never tweeted. I was like, I think what he thinks. So
the retweeter.
Validate me as well. And I wasn't really scared, because I was like, nobody looks at my thing anyway. I wouldn't have even thought my friends even know if I'm on Twitter or not. So I didn't feel that vulnerable, because I kind of thought I had nothing to lose. And if it didn't go well, if nobody responded to it, it wouldn't really matter, because I wasn't doing it desperately to try and... result. Yeah, and that's kind of like a weird thing, because I'm kind of saying don't want something, but at the same time, I don't know, I wish it was more planned and calculated than that, but it wasn't.
actonthis.tv if you want to get access to the full 2-hour chat with Johnny and literally hundreds of hours of other content with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in TV. I love what you said there. I think you said like, I wish it was more, sort of like more planned, more strategic, but it wasn't. And I think that's exactly the right kind of attitude to have. It's almost like, it's really rare to sort of have the mindset that Johnny had before going into this of going, I've only got 700 followers on Twitter. Most people with any followers on Twitter feel like every single person on their followers list, even if they only got 50 followers, they feel like every single person on that 50 follower list is going to see every piece of content they put out. So they're really self-conscious of what they put out because like, oh my God, everybody's going to see it. And if it's 700 people, oh my God, 700 people are going to see this thing. Let me just tell you, the way the algorithms work on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, I know a lot about this through, just using them for ads on this, and I mean, literally using them for over a decade now. They really don't show all of your followers, all of your content. If only they freaking did. Life would be so much easier to market yourself and to market stuff. But they don't. They roughly, organically, if you post a piece of content, will show it anywhere between sort of 5 and 15% of your followers. It's only from there, if certain followers see it and they retweet it and they share it, the algorithm says, oh, wait a minute, this is actually valuable content. So it starts distributing it to more of your followers and more of their potential, connections as well. So you could honestly post, no joke, you could post the same piece of content probably 15 times a day on the trot, and I promise you not every single person on your followers list is going to see it, right? And a lot of actors get hung up on that as well because they're like, oh, well, this scene that I've shot, this one scene that I've shot. Good evening, Tony Rossi from the US, or good afternoon for you. They think, right, this one scene that I've shot, I've already posted it. So, oh God, I can't post anything else then. Right, shit, what else do I post? You could honestly post that scene every single day for 2 weeks and not everybody on your followers list would see it or have a chance to get bored of it. These algorithms are really clever as well. They won't show duplicate content to people. So even if you posted the same thing again, it won't show it to people who have seen it before because they know sort of how this works. So please don't be scared of posting your stuff online more than once, right? I duplicate content all the time. And I'll put it out. I use a thing called Buffer, and you can go to a service. It depends how much content you've got. But for ads on this, I use a piece of content called a piece of software called Buffer, buffer.com, and I literally will schedule up 3 months of content at a time, and we might have a piece a day that's going out, like one of these little videos that you've seen. I'm going to play you more of these out now, but we'll schedule these up, and they will go out over a 3-month period. Obviously, there's a lot of them, so they'll be spread out a lot, but then we'll just repost the same stuff in a different order over the next 3 months with some extra stuff that we've created since we initially posted them. Don't ever think you can only post one thing, and only post it once. Callum says, I'm in that situation today, Ross. Just posted a new scene and now not sure what to do with the next. Don't want to overdo it. Callum, right, you can't, mate. You can't overdo it. I promise you can't overdo it. You can only overdo it if you start being overbearing and tagging the same people in your shit all the time and going, oh, such and such a casting director, watch this. And then the next day, watch this. Don't feel like you're annoying people. That's the thing as well, right? The thing that everyone needs to remember, social media is free, right? It is completely free. We don't pay to use Twitter. We don't pay to use Instagram. We don't pay to use Facebook. I pay these platforms to advertise on them, but I don't have to. Anyone who's going to complain about you posting content, it's like, if you don't like it, just scroll past it. You don't have to comment on it. You don't have to, look at it. Don't ever be afraid of if you've got quality stuff that you want to put out and you're proud of, put it out and put it out again and put it out again and put it out again. Don't get caught up on that. I promise you, Callum, you could post that 10 times a day, and not everyone on your list would see that. So don't. It's just a waste, isn't it? You might have spent hundreds of pounds on a showreel scene and then you post it once. It's such a shame, man. Because honestly, 5% of your following might see it. So if you've got 100 followers, that's 5 people. You've got to keep, obviously interspersed with other stuff, but you've got to keep putting stuff out there. Next clip is what happens really when you do put stuff out on Twitter. This is just going to show you some opportunity that Johnny had. And yes, you know what? It's not typical because the numbers that he achieved quickly are not really, super common. But don't get hung up on the metrics either, right? In this industry, in the acting industry, you only need one director, one casting director, the right producer, the right writer, whoever, to see a piece of your work and get an opportunity. I have just landed a role in a BBC drama where I actually play a presenter. Now, it's no coincidence that I put out every single day on multiple social media platforms what I'm doing right now. Ultimately, I'm a presenter probably more in my career than I am an actor right now, particularly over the last sort of 18 months with COVID. I do a load of voiceover, but in terms of acting work, it's been pretty limited. I've done about 5 episodes of Hollyoaks, I think, in the whole of lockdown. Whereas now things are picking up, getting a lot more auditions for stuff. But the things that I have been auditioned for recently are such on-point roles for me that fit my casting bracket so well because they're based on what I actually do and what I put out on social media. So if you're not putting stuff out on social media, again, people don't get a chance to know who you are, know what you do behind the scenes. You might have a real great skill. You could be a pro skateboarder or whatever, and you've got videos of you doing that, but you don't want to put them out online because you're like, oh, it's nothing to do with acting. You don't know when a casting director is going to need somebody who's really proficient in skateboarding. There was a story, a great story of an actor who landed a massive job, got an upgrade on set from being like a walk-on 3 background artist to a series regular, because they needed somebody who could barista, who could make coffee, had barista skills. And this person, it was in a really famous show. It might have been Friends or something. I can't remember, but they needed someone who could basically make coffee and act without making it look like they were thinking about making the coffee. So any kind of skills that you have and anything you do in your real life that could easily, come into your work at some point, put it out there, man. Put it out there. Here's just a little bit of what happened to Johnny initially when he started putting himself out there. Yes, the metrics will blow you away, but don't get caught up on that. One pair of eyes can change your career. Yeah. What was kind of going on in your head as an actor in terms of going, shit, how do I capitalize on this if it's not going to last forever in your career?
I was getting followed or liked or DM'd from these casting directors that were going, oh, love your stuff, or that's so true, and blah, 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 blah. So suddenly I found myself in this situation like, oh my God, I've got immediate access. I can literally direct message these casting directors or these actors or whoever, and because they're enjoying my video, the odds are likely that they might reply.
Yeah.
People that had, already interacted with me. I wasn't just DMing whoever. And anytime I got a follow from a nice, lovely casting director, I was straight in there,
straight into the DMs.
Thanks for the follow. I had a little bit of a Zoom meeting with various casting directors that I now could have, because of these videos. Sometimes you meet up with a friend and they're like, what have you been up to? And they're like, oh, I just had a general with the casting director. I'm like, it's not even a thing. I've never even, it's not just the thing that people say. And then just because of this, I found myself able to just reach out to these casting directors, and they were happy to, again, maybe it was because we were all doing nothing and the entire industry was shut, but I was able to have a direct communication with them. Before I started putting these videos out, I would have felt terrified to do that. I wasn't one for emailing casting directors and being proactive, and that was, I guess, fear of rejection or just feeling like I shouldn't do that. And now I feel like I've got this comfort blanket of because I'm the guy that does that thing, I can do this. But it doesn't really matter, because the worst thing that could possibly happen, the worst thing that could ever happen is you get a reply saying how dare you contact me. That's obviously not going to happen. So the worst thing that could happen is you don't get a reply. The entire thing can be summed up with well, if it fails, it fails, and then on to the new thing.
Boom. And exactly, if you put something out and it fails, and on to the next thing. But it's never a failure, because you will learn by what you've put out, what the market responds to. And it really is a market. Ultimately, social media, you are selling content. Admittedly, it's not going to cost them anything to consume it, but you are selling content to the masses because there's a lot of noise out there. And if you don't get any noise back, then it's okay, well, I've learned maybe that's not what the market, resonates with. We had a good chat about that actually on this. Sometimes it's right, you've got to listen to the market and give them what they want. And it might not be the perfect content you want to produce, But you've got to get their attention first by giving them what they want, and then you can throw in some of your own stuff as well and try and give them some of what you think they need as well. But you heard how Johnny was like, look, he wasn't proactive. He was nervous about getting in touch with casting directors. He sort of like felt a bit of imposter syndrome, like maybe he didn't have permission to do that. And you all know from the sessions that we do every single week with the biggest casting directors in TV that they all say you should be doing your market and you should be reaching out to us. It's not a single casting director in 12 years of me doing this that I have brought onto the site that has said, don't email me. Every single one has said, particularly like recently, I always use that thing Andy Morgan said as well, we're only as good as the actors that we know. And if you're an actor and you're great and you're not making sure that casting directors know you, well, you're just killing your career. Simple as that. You literally are hurting yourself by not making sure people know you exist. So yeah, put yourself out there. You never know where it's going to lead, and you can tell, by Johnny's clip there. He's DMing casting directors and stuff and directors, and this is how I get a lot. This is really how I get a lot of guests on AdsOnThis.tv. And yes, it's a lot easier now the site's established. Back in the day, though, I used to have to beg people. And Twitter gave me such a direct link to these people, and very famous actors as well. People who we've had on, like David Harewood and Daniel Mays and Matt Lucas and stuff like that. They're big sort of personalities on Twitter. They're very open to people getting in touch with them and reaching out to them. And casting directors are just beautiful people as well. So many, I'm trying to think, because there's got to be a few bad ones, aren't there? But I can't think of a casting director in our industry. I can. Yeah, I can think of a couple, literally, but they're not real casting directors. I can think of a couple of people who put the term casting director in their Twitter profile, who aren't really casting directors, who are dickheads probably, and if you did DM them, would probably be a bit holier than thou, and it'd be a bit like, who do you think you are reaching out to me? The casting directors who literally run this industry and like cast the biggest shows in the world are some of the most loveliest, kindest, generous, most open people I've ever met, and is so supportive of actors. They love actors. So as long as you're not being, overbearing dickhead yourself, if a casting director does follow you, it's totally cool to DM and thanks ever so much for the follow. You never know, like with Johnny, where it leads. It might lead to a general audition, could lead to a recommendation to an agent, etc., etc. But if you're not going to put content out there, you're never going to know, are you? You're never going to know. So do experiment, put stuff out there, see how the market reacts, basically. So that was clip number 2. I'm going to just get clip number 3 up for you. Whilst I'm doing that, I'll take you over to the members area on AdsOnThis.tv. If you did want to get access to Johnny's full interview, and also just literally hundreds of hours of coaching from the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, and producers in the game. Last 5 features. I mean, look at this, littered with massive names. So we got Mr. Johnny Weldon, obviously, as the latest feature we did. Before that, we had Mildred Yen from United Agents, probably one of the biggest agencies in the world. We then had Wendy Scazzaro, an incredible agent from Felix de Wolf, a fantastic London-based agency here in the UK. Tony Rossi, get yourself over here, get yourself signed with one of these guys. We had Stephen Graham, Hannah Walters, Lewis Arnold, and the cast of Time on the week before that. We had the guys from 53.2, an incredible theatre venue in Manchester, a brand new venue that's just opened up the week before that. We just got the biggest names in the game. There's Sophie Holland, the casting director from The Witcher. I mean, we just look at all of these people here. Mike Gibson, Olivier Award-winning actor. He's just started shooting a brand new show today, which is going to be amazing. I was at the read-through. It's a 4-part drama written by Danny Brocklehurst called No Return. You keep an eye out for that. One of the best things that I've seen, or one of the best read-throughs I've been to. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actress Elizabeth Henstridge. We've got Jill Halfpenny there. Joe Wilkinson, Mr. Dan Ryan. I mean, all are the biggest names in the industry. But if you want to get access to Johnny's session and all of this, get a membership at AdsOnThis.tv, log into your members area, and you'll find the full video or the podcast version just there on the page. If you want to just listen to the audio only, I know you guys on the audio experience listen to the audio only of this, where you can be able to see what I'm referring to, but go to AdsOnThis.tv, get your membership and just log in. You'll see it all. So the last piece of video I'm going to play you from this session with Johnny is how to deal with negative comments. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you're here live on Facebook. Who's dealt with trolls online? I'm very glad and fortunate that I ain't had much. I do get a bit of shit. You know what? I get more shit from email because I have a really big email list for AdsOnThis.tv, and actors sign up to the email list all the time, and then they forget like they signed up, and I'll send them like an invite to something, and then I get like an email back from them going, "Who are you? Stop sending me this shit." And I'm like, right, one, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. You signed up to my email list. Two, if you're not interested in coming to a session that for the price of less than a coffee with one of the biggest names in the industry, you might as well just give up on your career right now. Well, not give up unless you were super, super successful, but most people aren't where they want to be in the industry, including myself. So the more you can better yourself, I think, daily, the better for your career and your life in general. But yeah, people give me a little bit of stick sometimes through email. I did a cartoon for Netflix once, 105 episodes, maybe even more than that, and I thought it was really, really good. We were dubbing it from French into English. It was had a really big following, and the people who were purists and just loved the French version, they didn't like the English dub. Someone was complaining about the dub, and they wrote on Twitter something like, "Oh, the dub for this is shit." No, and they went out of their way to put "No thanks to you, Ross A. Grants" on Twitter. I was like, thanks. So you've taken in my work, and you've been so riled by it, you've decided you've had to come and try and drag me down. Well, I'll just spread nothing but love towards you because you're clearly not in a good place in your life, because I wouldn't do that. Zoe says, yeah, mainly from people who know me at college who would bully me for the content I put out. Zoe, what content are you putting out you're getting bullied for? Is it just acting career stuff? And that's just jealousy. If it is, it's just jealousy. It's people who are like, oh, Zoe's, more extroverted than I am, or, she's chasing the thing in her life that she wants to chase and I'm not. I don't, so rather, it's two ways people can make themselves feel better. Gary V said this. I love the guy. He says there's two ways to sort of like do something. You either build the biggest building in town, whatever that is for you, your career, your life, whatever, your family, that's your building. You build the biggest building you can build because you can build the biggest building. Or you try and have the biggest building by default by tearing everybody else's building down. And it's just a losing strategy. That's just two types of people in the world. Don't be the person who tries to tear other people's buildings down. It's a complete losing strategy. You will never attract anything good in your life. Sharon said she's had a bit of stick amount of trolls after I did interviews on this morning and was in the sun. What were you in the sun for on this morning, Sharon? What's that? Why have I never seen that? Sharon's just knocking around on this morning. Do you remember the Periscope you did a few years back where you got trolled the whole time? Yeah. Whose comment was that? Is that you, Tony? Facebook cuts off the names of people after a little while for me. Yeah, when I first started doing these live broadcasts, I mean, we're talking many, many years ago, and I did them from my phone, right? It's a bit more highly produced now. But I did them ghetto style. Like Johnny, didn't have a plan. I just went, I'm going to go live on this thing called Periscope when Twitter first made it. It was about 6-7 years ago, probably. And yeah, there must have been groups of trolls online who literally looked for broadcasts, and they all came in at once. I was used to having like 20 viewers or something like that, and we had about 400 viewers just suddenly came in. But they were all trolls. To be fair to them, some were really funny. They were like, "Oh, you're an actor, are you? Well, what were you in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? What were you? The wardrobe?" It's like, I remember one of them just kept repeating, "Your mum's a bus driver." I don't even know like what that means, if that's a term for something weird that I don't know about. But I just thought, interesting use of trolling here. But yeah, you get a few, don't you, when you put anything out online. But yeah, other people, I don't know. There's something someone must have said there that I've missed, because again, Facebook won't let me go back more than 5 comments. Sorry, but someone's saying, "Oh, that's terrible." So someone must have had something. And that comment was from me. It was a bunch of random trolls. Yes, Tony, it was. I remember definitely when the random trolls came in. That was just mental. Yeah, going, "What were you? The wardrobe in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe." Look, I'd have been happy to play the wardrobe, to be honest. It was a big film. I'll take that. So this is a comment. Well, not a comment. This is a little video from Johnny Weldon when Sandra, who's in the UK now, came online to say that she'd had a little bit of shit off someone for putting her content out online and how Johnny deals with that. And he just gives some really great advice. It's very basic. It's not high performance based or anything like that. It's not a trick or a hack, but it's exactly how I think we should all probably deal with any trolls that we get in our lives. And if you do join the sessions, by the way, if you're not a member of ActsOnThis.tv yet, it's not just like me and Johnny talking. Members get to jump on camera and ask questions as well. So you'll see Sandra, a little bit of Sandra's question here in this. So this is dealing with basically just dealing with dickheads online.
Did you ever doubt your, I don't know if that's the right word because German, your concept because I put out scenes as well, and I got messages about I quote, the quality is not increasing. Maybe you should think about doing something else.
Well, they should go f*** themselves.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
I tell you what, it's funny though, isn't it? Because like, if I put up a video, it happened today, right? I was checking my tweets as I do every 3 minutes, and like, one guy commented and it said, could you be more of a David Brent impressionist? And on the one hand, I was like, he's got me there. He's bloody got me, because it is all thanks to Ricky Gervais. But that stays with me so much more than any of the lovely comments, because it's, I don't know, like I worked with a director a few years ago that was having a really nice acting career, and she got one terrible review, and then she decided she could never be on stage again. And
Wow.
it's just so much easier, isn't it, to listen to the hate, because I don't know, it just feels, I think because we're sort of looking out for it, because you know, when you put stuff out there, it's vulnerable and you want it to be good, and your biggest fear is that it's not going to be good, so that when one person echoes that anxiety, it's like, I've got to really listen to this. But you're only choosing to do that. I think I completely relate to you, and I like feel that, like I feel that as well. But like Ross had Joe Wilkinson on, and he was talking about how he was just putting stuff out online. David Earl, who's in Derek and Afterlife, he was just putting mad shit out online, and that's completely changed his career. I mean, I know it's horrible, but and it's unpleasant, and that is kind of like what Twitter is, just people saying whatever they want, and they can just have any display picture that's not them, and they have these horrible anonymous voices. But you just gotta know that, basically.
actonthis.tv again. If you want to watch the full chat with Johnny, F him, basically. Really simple advice, Sandra. Just forget about him, basically. And you've got to put out content ultimately just for you. As I say, most of the hate is coming from people who are hurting. Remember, I say this all the time. Hurt people, never forget this. Hurt people hurt people. It's as simple as that. Happy people don't hurt people. They don't have time to just throw shit at people. You know, they don't want to. They want to lift people up. And honestly, when you operate from that place, you operate at just a higher, I don't want to get all hippie and stuff, but like just from such a higher vibration. I swear to God, you know, I know when I operate from a place of gratitude and service. I want to help other people. Good things happen in my life. You know, they really, really do. And sometimes, like, you know, something will happen in your life that brings you down, that drags you down. And it could be a negative comment or just something that, you know, or an audition that's not gone your way or whatever. And I can feel, I know it sounds weird, but I can feel if I stay in that place for too long. And sometimes you can get a knock in life. You'll get a punch in the face in life. Not literally, hopefully not literally. But life will punch you in the face. You know, sometimes like it's fucking really hard to get out of that funk that you're in. And sometimes, like, you know, if it's ever happened to me, and thankfully it doesn't happen often, but you just want to lie on your bed and you don't really want to do anything. And that sort of just perpetuates more of that funk. And then sometimes, I mean, I've even had it where, like, sometimes, you know, something really good can then come along and you still don't allow yourself to enjoy it. Who has had that feeling? It's a fucking horrible feeling where you're like, I should be really happy now. So you get punched in the face, you feel like shit. Something good is happening maybe the weekend after you've been punched in the face. So you might have had you might have really wanted this audition or something like that. You go for it, you do a great job, you don't get it. It then puts you in a place, and you might have like a party the next day or a barbecue the next day, and it's like, oh, fuck's sake. That's actually really good, and I should enjoy that, but I'm denying myself joy. I'm actually consciously denying myself joy in the situation that I could have if I just allowed myself to. But I'm fixating on this shit over here, so I'm actually like losing over here, and then I'm losing again because I am like putting a glass ceiling on my happiness right now. And it's sometimes hard to force yourself out of that situation. But I know when I'm in that situation, if I stay there, just more like funk happens. I don't know, nothing good happens at all. If I sort of like force myself to just raise my vibration, be more grateful, focus on what's right in my life, go and have a look at the positive comments for a bit, not focusing on the negative one, literally the negative one. You might have 10 positive ones, one negative one. Or I might get one negative email, but then I always save the emails where actors send me the emails where they're like, this has changed my life, this has changed my career. Save all them. Nice to go and have a look at those from time to time when you're doubting yourself. But if you can raise that vibration, you can operate from a place of gratitude again. Just like great things come into your life. I promise you. Like, it's weird. I can sometimes feel myself blocking good things from happening. I'm like, Ross, get out of this mindset, because you're not attracting anything good into your life whilst you're here. And it's hard, but I think we've all been. I have multiple times. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Most people know what I'm talking about when you know that it's almost like, oh God, if this hadn't have happened, or if I hadn't made that mistake, I could really enjoy this moment now, without realizing, actually, you know what? You can just enjoy that moment anyway, if you give yourself permission to. And sometimes it's really hard. The hardest thing around that for me is, one, if I've made a stupid mistake, I berate myself terribly. I'm really, really bad at that. And I don't, I'm a good person. I don't make really shit mistakes, but I'm a bit of a control freak. And if I know I've done something, I'm like, oh, why did you do that, you dick? I find it very hard to get out of that situation. The other one is health. So, that's really hard if there's a health issue with myself or my family or something like that. I remember when I told you last summer, I found that mole. And it was nothing actually in the end, but I went and had it cut off, and it turned out to be nothing anyway. The NHS were amazing; they did it in like 3 days. But getting a message back from your GP going, yes, mate, we'll probably put you on a 2-week skin cancer referral for that, and you go, fuck, wasn't expecting that. That's a very difficult funk to get out of. So that's a little bit, a little bit different. But in that situation, you think to yourself, oh my God, all I could think about was, oh my God, why was I not cartwheeling down the street yesterday? Because before this, I should have really been freaking enjoying my life. And I was enjoying it, but I was enjoying it nowhere near to the level where if you could just take away this negative thing now, oh my God, I would just be like, I'll never complain about anything again in my life. And it's staying in that state where you do really, really appreciate everything around you that's hard. You know what? You're like, it's difficult. But when you can live in that place more often than not, I just feel you bring much more good stuff into your life. But I find that the hardest if I've made a mistake and I just want to punch myself in the face, or if it's health and I can't do anything about that, I need outside help from doctors or whatever. I find that very difficult as well. But the things you can control are like, I've not had a call from my agent, I've not had an audition this week, I didn't get that audition that I went for that I really wanted. That's all bullshit. Right? You can control that stuff. Yes, it's hard, but you can elevate yourself out of those negative situations and, and take yourself away from any negative comments you might have had on your work that you put out that week. Continue to put work out there, and I promise you, good things will happen in your life. I'm so sorry I'm missing all of these comments. I'm seeing loads of comments come through. But hopefully you guys, sort of relate to what I'm saying there. Zoe says, when things go wrong on a job, even when it isn't my fault, I blame myself, and it then sets me off. I'm like, I could have changed that. It's all my fault. It's gone wrong. Honestly, we're sometimes our own worst enemies, aren't we? All you've got to remember is that, and you can even apply this to people behaving in the most horrible of ways sometimes. This isn't you, Zoe. Obviously, you wouldn't have done anything horrible. But I'm just like, look, I'm going to give everybody grace in the majority of circumstances anyway, because I think people really are just doing the best that they can do with what they have at that time. And you've got to try and project that grace and positivity onto people sometimes. Say someone cuts you up in a car, you don't really know what's going on in their life. You can get on the horn, you can go, you dickhead, look where you're going, you knobhead. They might have just had a call from the hospital saying the dad's got, like hours or minutes to live or whatever, and they're rushing, they don't look. I think if you project positivity onto people, you end up not putting yourself through that physical turmoil. Because if you get angry and beat the horn and stuff, like that other person doesn't really care, or they're not in your head. It's only you that you're hurting sometimes. So it's a real, battle with yourself, innit? You against yourself a lot of the time. Tony says, some of you know this, but I run a Facebook group. Tony, we promoted your Facebook group on that live, didn't we? What's it called? Self-Care for Actors. Don't know what it's actually called though, mate. Feel free to put a I says, I don't want to spam on here. Tony, you have my permission to post your link once, not 10 times. But it's fine. If Tony sort of like does a lot of self-care stuff for actors. But yeah, I think it is. You have to just project positivity onto yourself when you make a mistake. Realize that actually you were just doing the best that you could in that moment. And there's also, when people lash out as well, and people are like, you can go, oh God, you're a bit horrible there. There is a real innocence sometimes behind that as well. You get the most innocent dog and you corner it. You see this sometimes, don't you, when stray dogs... I love watching those videos on Facebook where you get like a stray dog and it looks absolutely like on death's door, and then they rescue it, but it might take them half an hour to get the lead around the dog's neck, and it's hiding under a car and they've got to try and sneak in and get it. And then it shows you like 3 months later, Milo is now a happy pup and he's running around, he's put all weight on and he's got a forever home and just looks the happiest dog in the world. I love that. But that dog who's looking lovely and happy 3 months later, when he's trying to be caught and he's being cornered, looks like he could bite your head off. And yet he's still a really innocent dog. And you've got to remember that as humans, we're just like that. Sometimes, someone can be an absolute dickhead, but it's because they were cornered. Everything in their life was going wrong and they felt threatened by you or your success or whatever it is you were doing. And you've got to remember that, like, even behind, and it's hard, behind like really bad decisions people make and bad things people do, sometimes there is that innocence. They were just doing the best that they could do with what they had and they didn't know any better. So you've got to kind of, like, as I say, sort of project that love onto those people who might leave you a bad comment on social media, or I don't know, do whatever. It's an interesting topic though. We better start wrapping up. We've got 15 minutes left. I've got loads still to go through. Tomorrow night, this is going to be a really, really great session. If you're not a member of ActsOnThis.tv, come and join the community. Even if you just try this out for a month, it's going to cost you basically £6 a week. This coffee that I've got here that I should not be drinking at 9:45 at night, practically cost me that. That's about £4.50. You will get a session a week with one of the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, or producers in TV every single week. You get access to the back catalogue of every single thing we've recorded in the past. You get a dedicated iPhone and Android app to take this stuff in really, really easily. You get 2 group coaching sessions every other Friday with the community. You get a monthly meetup on the first Saturday of every month that will soon be in person again, which will be amazing. You get so much value. It works out literally like, I don't know, £1.50 a bloody session or something like that, where most people in this industry are charging you 30, 40 quid, for a mastermind Q&A online. I'm trying to offer you these with better names as well, way, way better names, bigger names than most people can get. Well, I say anybody, to be honest. I've not seen Stephen Graham do Q&As with many people and stuff like that. So come and try the community out, ActsOnThis.tv, because tomorrow night I've got an incredible actress coming on who's been on before, just once, and it's one of the most honest interviews that I've done. Let me go over to the website and I'll show you. If you go to ActsOnThis.tv/live, I'm going to be updating the schedule because I've still got loads of these to add. I think there's only 2 people on the schedule so far, but I've got to update this. So we've got Melissa Johns on tomorrow night. She's just finished filming Grantchester Series 6, which will air this summer. She plays a new series regular called Miss Scott. Before that, she starred in BBC One's Life, and it was an amazing show. She's also just written and had her first commission from BBC. It went out on iPlayer called What Would You Do, Frida? So she's going to be talking a lot about that imposter syndrome of moving from actor into the writing territory. She's going to be on Celebrity MasterChef in a couple of weeks, I think, whenever that comes out. It's just and she's just super honest. Melissa was born with one arm. Has faced a lot of adversity in the industry and just around sort of like disability and body difference and that sort of stuff. But we're going to be looking a lot about turning that adversity in your life. It doesn't have to be a disability, right? Into fuel and advantage in your career. Melissa has certainly turned that adversity she faced and still faces every day, into advantage to move her career forward. So I don't care who you are. You might not have a disability, but I know every single person on here is going through something. Like I just know every single person because I include myself in that as well. Just looking down some names: Joanne, Alex, Chris. How you doing, mate? Callum's here as well. I only see 5 names at a time, and there's a lot more people than that. But I know for a fact, because you're human beings and because of the human condition, you're all battling something right now. Every single one of you is facing something in your life that you are struggling with to a certain extent, and you want to, push through. And that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night with Melissa, because she's had to do this time and time and time again, and has now got an incredible career that a lot of people would envy. She created the Disabled Artist Networking Community with Cheryl Lee Houston from Coronation Street. Played Izzy in Coronation Street, and those guys have done an incredible thing. So we're going to be looking at mindset tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Melissa's projects. In a couple of weeks' time, we've got Colleen Crawford, one of the biggest casting directors in the UK, in the world, to be honest, in the industry, in the TV industry, with us. She has recently cast things like I Hate Susie. That was the Billy Piper. It was, wasn't it? I'm sure that was the Billy Piper show. Did she get nominated or did it win? I'm sure it won a BAFTA, or she got nominated for a BAFTA for that. The BAFTA winning His Dark Materials, written by Jack Thorne. That was amazing. Got an upcoming BBC drama series called SAS Rogue Heroes, and a Channel 4 drama called Screw that I auditioned for. One of the best auditions I've ever had. Didn't get the part, but what a show. What a show. That'll be. And the audition process, Colleen is absolutely lovely. She's so nice. I've also got an incredible actor, writer, director on next week. Anyone who's interested in motion capture and performance capture, we've got one of the biggest casting directors in that on the week after Colleen. Got so much stuff coming up. We've got cocktails and conversation evenings again that we're going to do in August. We're going to do that every quarter for members of actonthis.tv. There's never been a better time to get involved in this community. I'm going to play Melissa's little trailer out. This is happening tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. It's going to be great, and it'll be a freaking honest, open chat as well. Actors, have I got a special invite for you? I want to invite you to this week's actonthis.tv live mastermind session. It's taking place on Zoom on Tuesday, the 13th of July at 7:30 p.m. with this amazing woman here, BAFTA Elevate actress, star of shows like BBC One's Life, I Play As What Would You Do, Frida. You'll be seeing her as Miss Scott, a new series regular in ITV's Grantchester this summer, and she'll soon be cooking up a storm in Celebrity MasterChef. It's Melissa Johns. Melissa, welcome back to actonthis.tv. What we're going to be covering on Tuesday night?
We are going to be talking about all the shows that you've just mentioned. Some of them require a little bit of acting, and some of them require a little bit of cooking. Let's have a chat about that. But also looking at writing and what it's like to feel a bit of imposter syndrome when you are known for being an actor and you delve into a bit of writing. So let's chat about all those things.
Absolutely. I also want to talk about turning adversity into advantage. We both will live with disabilities. You don't have to have a disability to be able to do this, or sort of like, everyone's basically, facing some kind of issue in their life. I don't care who you are when you're watching this, where you're at in your life, you're facing some sort of battle. And we're going to be looking, at sort of turning that adversity into your advantage to fuel your success in the acting industry, Melissa. If you want to be there, get yourself over to actonthis.tv/live right now. Grab your Act On This membership. You can join sessions like this every single week on a Tuesday or a Thursday with the biggest names in the acting industry. And to finish off, Melissa, we ask everybody this question: why don't actors want to miss this session in particular?
Well, if anybody saw the last session that I did with Ross, you'll know that I was very, very honest.
Yes.
Ross managed to
really
get a lot
honest.
You got a lot of things out of me, so let's hope that can happen again, and we can just have a really honest chat about this industry that we're all in.
Absolutely. Full on honesty. You get to jump on camera, get involved in the chat yourself. Be there. actonthis.tv/live. actonthis.tv/live if you want to see that schedule and get your membership. If you're listening or watching it on the replay, you might miss that session. I don't know when you are watching or listening to this, but get over to actonthis.tv/live anyway, because we do it every single week on a Tuesday or a Thursday with a top guest. And anybody who wants to join that session tomorrow but is like, I can't make it, they all get recorded. There's literally hundreds of hours in the members area at actonthis.tv that you can catch up on in your own time. It's like the Netflix of acting career coaching. Just scroll through. There's no right or wrong answer to go through it in. Just choose a feature with a great guest that you like the look of. Hit play. Put some earphones in. You don't even have to sit there and watch it. I know people are busy. That's why I always leave the audio-only version and the video version in the members area. So if you just want to listen to it as a podcast while you walk the dog, or you work out in the gym, or you travel on the train to an audition or whatever, there's no excuse to not be taking this stuff in. Basically, it's a 90-minute commitment a week. That is it. If you ain't got 90 minutes spare to put into your acting career to learn from the biggest names in the game, I think you've got an issue there that you need to go, what am I wasting 90 minutes on? And don't tell me you work 40 hours a week, so you've got no time. I did the maths the other day and was like, I was going, all these people saying they do a full-time job and they can't work in their acting career. I'm like, it's nonsense that. I must do 120 hours a week. So I did the maths, right? If you 24 hours in a day, 8 of those is work, right? 8 is sleep. That's 16 hours. That leaves 8 hours in the day. Now, I get it. You might have an hour's commute. You might have to make the kids tea, put the kids to bed. That might be like 3 hours, something like that. It leaves you with 5 hours a day, So, I mean, let's even take it down from that. Let's say then you've got to, I don't know, prepare the kids' dinners for the next day for school, whatever. That's another hour. Even 4 hours a day. You're looking at 120 hours a month. That you could use, or an extra 30 hours a week to put into your acting career. It's almost like you could have a full-time job and a full-time job on your acting career, and you've still got a few hours left to sleep. So, 90-minute commitment a week. There ain't no excuse, I'm afraid. Like, there's no one telling me they're too busy not to put a pair of earphones in for 90 minutes. Alan Rafferty, how you doing, mate? Just saw your comment. Good on you for putting your show reel out on Twitter, mate. And Sam says, damn, there goes my excuse. Honestly, it's sort of like, I think people think that all they can do is 40 hours. We've conditioned society to go 40 hours is a full-time job. I think these days it's not even. I think by the government standards, it's 37 and a half hours. Full-time job. Oh, when I get home from work, I'm just so tired. You don't want it enough then. You don't want it enough. Work so hard, you can get yourself out of that job you don't want to do. I used to do it. I used to work in a computer game shop, and literally I did 11 years before, I realised it was not the way. And I had to save, stop spending money on dumb shit, save up to give myself a 3-month buffer in the end. I saved up about $3,000. And I went, right, this is enough to live on for 3 months. I'm leaving, I'm out of here. See you later. Walked out of the computer game shop. Shout out to Phil Whitnell, my ex-boss. He's still working for Game, but he's a legend. My boss at the time was not Phil. She was not a nice person. So I walked, I went, see you later, I'm out of it. Best thing I ever did, because I had the fear. I thought, shit, I've got to make this work within 3 months, otherwise I'm back. And you know what? What was the worst that was going to happen? I was going to go back to another minimum wage job. So what was I actually risking? I don't know what I was trying to convince myself of, because for about 2 years before that, I was going, oh no, you can't risk it. You can't. Risk what? Risk a minimum wage job in a retail environment that you could just go and get another one of if it all goes wrong anyway. It's liberating, honestly. Save some money up, get a buffer, jump. The net will appear. It did for me, and it has for so many people. I don't know someone who hasn't done it and gone, yeah, I really regret doing it. I just don't know anybody who's done that. Like, if you're in a job you don't like, what's the worst that can happen? You have to go and get another job you don't like. There you go. Probably one for another time, another conversation. I'm going to have to go in a sec. We've got 5 minutes. I'm going to play a little mashup of Johnny's session, just so you can see some other stuff that was in that session with Johnny Weldon last week that I haven't played out tonight. But we've got a couple of minutes Q&A if you want. Sharon says, 37 and a half hours is classed as full-time. Oh, part-time, that's Sharon, isn't it? I mean, come on. That is part-time. It just is. I haven't got a family so I can spend more time working, but I reckon I do 120 hours a week on this community, my acting career, voiceover, marketing this, doing these kind of things. I'll be working till 11:30 tonight, putting the replay up online, but that's not woe me, oh, look at me, aren't I a saint? I freaking love it. It's not really work, because I really, really enjoy it. I mean, sometimes I'm a bit like, oh, God, right, I've still got that to do. But it beats working in a computer game shop where people just don't appreciate you. Where people would come in, throw their Xbox down on the counter, go, that's effed, and look at me as if I manufactured it. Didn't make that, mate. Didn't actually make that. That came from Microsoft. I just sold it, yeah. Don't know why you're shouting at me. What's this? James saying, that's why I'm 1 week and 1 day away from my jump. Freaking hell, mate. Let's do it. Do it. Get. Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting. It will be scary, but you will thank yourself for doing it. I mean, because you'll never know. Even if you don't get within that time where you exactly want it to be, at least you know. You would never know if you stay in that shit situation that you're in. Look at how many actors and stuff we've had on Acts on This.tv who have made that, have took that gamble, took that risk. It's been the best thing that they ever did. Kev's got a premiere of his documentary tomorrow. Kev, good luck with that, mate. It's an incredible story of a homeless actor, a real, a guy who is homeless and is an actor. it's a fantastic story, Kev. Definitely if it's online anywhere or anything like that, post it in the Facebook group, mate. I'm sure there's lots of people who would love to see it. And James is leaving teaching. There you go, James. I mean, it's a fantastic job, sort of seeing other people develop and helping them in their life, mate. But I could never be a teacher I love helping people without a doubt. But if people started having almost sort of like using what I was teaching them to do the things that I really wanted to do, I'd be like, why aren't I doing it? Like, oh God. It's almost like, going, be an acting teacher. I'd get so jealous. I'm just being honest with you. I'd get so jealous of the students who started working on great TV shows. They're like, why am I teaching this stuff? And like, I'm not doing it. That's why, like, I'm doing a weekend program for people in August. If you go to actonthis.tv/first role, for anybody who's looking for their first role on TV, it was a program I took people through last year, and lots of people in that group have now had their first role on TV. I couldn't teach that unless I was working in TV, because I'd be like, why am I not implementing everything that I'm showing people in my own career? So the day that I stop working in TV and I stop acting, I don't know. I mean, I probably won't do this anymore, because I'd just be so envious, James, of everybody who's doing the thing that I actually want to do. So good on you, mate. I mean, as I say, very noble cause, teaching, and teachers. There's teachers that I've had in my life who have changed my life. Mike Parker, my drama teacher at school, don't know him nowadays. I'm mates with him on Facebook. I don't know if you'll ever see this, Mike, but changed the course of my life. I mean, like my actual life. Changed the whole course of it by sending me to auditions as a kid at Granada TV. I had no idea like how you got into that, and he was just my drama teacher. But what a guy! I'll be forever grateful to him. I'll give him a shout out if I ever win any big awards or anything like that. But I couldn't do it because I'd be like, I just can't see people doing the thing that I actually want to do. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Alan says that program is the best acting program I've ever done. Learned so much. Alan, thank you so much, man. actonthis.tv/first role. It's not cheap. It's quite an expensive weekend, but it's actually 12 months of support as well. It is 497 quid. But I literally take people through a blueprint of how I booked my first, I would say 15 TV jobs, but I'm nearly 30 in now. And I still use the strategies every week, at least. And the auditions I've had recently, I have got through using these strategies. And the job that I just booked, that I'm filming now on the 30th of June, down at the BBC in London, I got through using these strategies. So I do practice what I preach. I'm not like, be careful of people teaching you stuff in the acting industry who are not using what they're teaching to get themselves work. So Babu Cisse said it, and I know I've said it lots of times now, repeating what he said, but it's like, don't take advice from people on how to shoot a self-tape and book work through self-tapes if they don't shoot self-tapes to book work, or if they are shooting self-tapes, make sure they are booking work through those self-tapes. He said, and that just goes for everybody. And I think that's true. There's a lot of people out there who are professing to be gurus. I get emails from people who have set these acting companies up every day, who have not worked in the industry for 20 years. I've worked in the West End. No, with respect, you were in the ensemble for one show. You can't say you're a West End actress and now, or actor, and now you're going to set up a coaching thing and all this stuff to teach people how to have success when you haven't had it. I'm sorry, I just don't, maybe you can, I don't know, but I just don't resonate with that. I'm like, look, just, if you were that good, you would have earned your money out of the thing that you do, not teaching people to do things that you haven't achieved yourself. I don't know, it just feels a bit dodgy to me. So just be careful. There's a lot of people out there who are like, oh yeah, just pay me for this and pay me for that, and you look at them and you go, mate, particularly like, God, I like 21-year-old life coaches, with respect, you probably still live at home with your mum. You can't teach people on how to survive in life and have a fantastic life when you're 21. You can't teach people how to have a great acting career when you're 21 and you've never had an agent. I mean, that's literally a thing that I'm seeing right now in the industry. Certain people who have just never worked. They've never had a single TV job, and they're charging people hundreds of pounds to I don't know, teach them what? You've got no experience. It just baffles me. So be careful. And Alan said Ross didn't pay me to say that. No, I didn't, Alan. You paid me to say that. That's the thing. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate anybody who who goes on First TV Roll Fast Track Live. It's a fantastic weekend. It's a full weekend. I take people through an entire blueprint on day one. It's like a 10-hour day. Second day, we bring lots of guests in from the industry, top directors, casting directors, who literally cast the shows. You know, I bring the real deal to the table, like the people who actually would put you in one of the shows that would, you know, potentially be the job that's your first TV job. Same for directors. You know, I've got great, probably the, you know, in my opinion, one of the best headshot photographers in the industry, the best showreel producer in the industry. It's super legit. I appreciate it's expensive, but you're not paying for that weekend. You get 12 months support as well, and you're really paying for the 20 years of knowledge that I've accrued in this industry. Always remember that when you're paying a coach as well. Like, don't look at, like, you could have a coach in any area of your life, a personal trainer in a gym or whatever it is. You might go 40 quid an hour for a personal trainer. Oh, God, that's so expensive. What a ripoff. You're not paying for that time you're in the gym for 40 minutes. You're paying for the years that personal trainer has put into his craft, has put into the qualifications he's had to have that have probably cost him thousands of pounds, the time, the effort, the late nights, him putting himself through that training and changing his or her own body and learning about nutrition and all that stuff. You're getting all of that, years and years and years worth of knowledge for 40 quid. What a bargain. Or you can go figure it all out on your own if you want, because it took me 20 years to figure out the industry to the point where I'm at now. And I've sat down for hundreds of hours with the biggest names in the game. I've probably put in over £100,000 of my own money into learning about this industry, taking myself on courses, shooting show reels, voice reels, equipment, camera, everything like that. You think of how quickly that builds up. So always remember that when you're buying a product. Do your due diligence, make sure that person's legit and isn't some snake oil bullshit salesman. But then also don't look at it as like, what am I paying by the hour? It's like, what are you saving by learning this in an hour that might take you 30 years, to learn? That's why I love autobiographies. You can learn from someone. You can learn from 40 years of someone's experience in a weekend of reading somebody's autobiography. It's so freaking valuable. Right, I'm going to go because we've ran over, haven't we? It's 5 past. I'm going to play this little trailer out from Johnny Weldon's full session. James says he's on this training, worth every penny. James, I will see you there. And I'll make it my freaking crusade as well, personally, to make sure that those people who commit to the training as well, mate, I will do everything I can to help you book that first TV job before Christmas. And, like my reputation's on the line as well. When I run trainings like that, I'm like, it's a win for me if I can get everybody in that training working, because it proves that what I'm teaching works. And that was what's so lovely about the last intake, is every time someone gets a job, like when Petch got his first TV job, and he told me, he said, Ross, I only took that training from you to prove to you that it wouldn't work. I'm like, well, thanks for the belief in me, Petch. And now he's on Coronation Street, so like, it does freaking work. When we had other people, if we had Lawrence Russell, when he was in EastEnders, Joe, in a BBC drama that's not come out yet that we can't really talk about. There's lots of people who have now, gone on from having no auditions. Never. Wendy's on a third EastEnders audition, and it's only a matter of time before she books a job. And before that, she was she'd never had a TV audition in her life. This stuff just works, guys. But those people who commit, I will commit to you as well. I don't take it lightly that you've invested in yourself like that, and me. It's not a small investment, and it's not a small commitment either, because you're going to be in that group for 12 months. So you better work hard, because I'm going to be on your ass every week going, oi, Gary, have you sent your emails out this week? Freaking do it. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you guys. I'm going to finish though with this, and it's actonthis.tv/first roll if you want to get involved in that. It's happening on the 14th and 15th of August. So you've still got time to grab a ticket. And I think for now, there's even a 2-pay option on there as well. So you actually spread the payment out in 2, but that'll be coming down soon, because we're going to be too close to the event in order to be able to do that. But you can get that for now. I'm going to play, this mashup. So this is from Johnny Weldon's full session that you can get in the members area on actonthis.tv. There's a cracking session of basically how you can put yourself out online, take over Twitter, and just get lots of eyes on your work to forward your career. You don't have to get millions of views like Johnny has had. Just a few views can change your life. Joe Wilkinson, who we had on recently, who plays Pat in Ricky Gervais's Afterlife, put a video out that got 400 views on YouTube. Ricky phoned him up and went, I want it to be in Derek. That's how it went. So you don't need the one person to see your stuff for it to actually change your life. So don't worry about the metrics. And tomorrow night, like I say, with Melissa Johns, actonthis.tv/live, if you want to get your membership to get your seat for that. And I'll see you guys we'll hopefully see you tomorrow night. And if not, I'll see you next Monday for some more of this. Joe says, I'm thinking about the weekend course. It's just clashing with something at the RSC. It is recorded. Yeah, Joe, it is. The whole weekend, every second of that training is recorded, and you will get access to it for life, or as long as I'm alive. As long as I'm paying the bill for the website, basically. So yeah, you get a workbook. You get access to every single second of that session of those 2 days. So it'll be like, what will it be? Like 20 hours of training. It'll all be recorded. It'll be neatly chunked down into bite-sized videos for you to take in. There's a workbook to work through. There's a Facebook community where we're all going to be in there, and the people from the last intake are in there as well. So they've been in your shoes. They've been through the course. A lot of them have now booked their first TV job. Who better to learn from than them? Those people who have been there and they really understand how you feel. So it is all recorded. If you can only make one of the days, just catch up on the other day. If you can't make either of the days, you'll still get access to it. It will be available at some point down the line as a fully recorded course, but it will be much more expensive. My plan is to basically make it the flagship course for ActsOnThis.tv, and it will probably be twice that price. But if you book a role on TV, you're going to get, you only need sort of like 2 one-line roles on TV to get your money back at £1,000. At 500 quid, anybody who gets a TV job will get their money back from this course. It's my aim to basically get you your money back by getting you a TV job, but I can't do the work for you, right? There's a little caveat there. You have to be freaking committed. Don't dabble in this. If you're not really up for it, don't do it. We just want super positive, motivated people in the group who are going to freaking get their ass in gear. So yeah, come and get involved if you fancy it. Right, okay, this is the trailer for Johnny. I'm definitely going now. I'll see you tomorrow night with Melissa Johns. Until next time, folks, lots of love to you all. I'm wishing you the best week ever. Bye for now. If you work in the acting industry and you're on Twitter, you'll instantly recognize tonight's special guest. His hair, at least. His sketches have amassed literally millions of views over the last few months, portraying the excruciatingly cringeworthy scenarios that as actors get ourselves into on a daily basis. It's Twitter king of comedy, Mr. Johnny Weldon. Johnny, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, what an introduction. All the sketches that I do, I've been in that situation to a certain extent. It might not have been that's hopefully why they're relatable. It might not have been as excruciatingly awful. I mean, I genuinely can't bear catching up and going, what have you been up to? Oh, yeah, bits and bobs. And being at press nights and having awkward conversations.
What was the point where you went, right, I am going to start putting my own stuff out there? What was the catalyst for that? And how did you get over, just if maybe you didn't have to, but the trepidation a lot of people have around posting that first piece of content?
I wasn't really scared because I was like, nobody looks at my thing anyway. Like, I wouldn't have even thought my friends even know if I'm on Twitter or not. So I didn't feel that vulnerable because I kind of thought I had nothing to lose. And if it didn't go well, if nobody responded to it, it wouldn't really matter.
These are not typical results. For a first video, 61,000 views.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Take it. We'll have a drink. He's such a f***ing prick.
How did me and John Chalice end up on a Zoom call to sketch?
How did you and Boise end up on a
Because I slid into his DMs.
What happened when you get notifications go, Ricky Gervais has just followed you?
I said, thank you for the follow, Ricky. I've obsessively watched your work for as long as I can remember. Thank you so much. And he sent back the prayer hand emoji.
I got messages about I quote, the quality is not increasing. Maybe you should think about doing something else.
Well, they should go f*** themselves.
Okay.
So
yes.
Listen more to the daring side than the devil on your shoulder saying, don't do it.